their act together.
And it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Did you hear about what is going on in Congress now? As if nothing else, they have nothing else better to do? That there's some NIL legislation that's being talked about? Okay.
Yeah.
And you know who's –
I don't know who's driving it, but yes.
There are two people driving it. One of them is a former football coach in Alabama who is now in Congress. He's a senator.
Tommy Tuberville.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the other is Joe Manchin.
Okay.
He has a really good relationship with Nick Saban, both from West Virginia.
Okay.
And supposedly they're going to come up with some legislation, not roadblocks, but guardrails for NIL legislation, transfer, all this stuff. They want to come up with some guardrails as if they don't have anything else to do. But they got backing of at least two U.S. senators, Joe Manchin and.
But why?
Because maybe they think there's some money involved there. And they want to be altruistic and they want to figure out a way to help out.
No, you know what they want. They want to make sure they get their tax share.
Yeah, that might be
That's
it
what's
too.
going to be it. Let me take a break. Davey Thomas is going to join us at the bottom of the hour. We're going to go off just a little bit early today because I've got a conference call I got to make at 9. Back in a moment.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stiefel Nicholas can assist you. Call Ford Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stiefel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
And welcome back. Davey Thomas going to join us in a few minutes. I'm having a really bad freaking day. Let me go ahead and tell you. Tiger Woods reportedly turned down $700 to $800 million to join the LIV. Now, here's the thing. He don't need the money. He's probably, a billionaire by now?
Yeah.
Okay,
sure.
So that doesn't really matter. John Daly said he begged Greg Norman to let him in. I think he would be a good addition.
Nice draw.
Yeah. And then I saw another article that says 7 of the 10 highest-paid golfers have joined the LIV Tour.
Highest paid, or are the same as highest paid, what they earned?
Mm-hmm.
Or the ones that won the most tournaments, finished in second?
The 10 highest-paid golfers took in around $370 million from the Saudi-backed tour. Phil topped the list of the year's best-paid golfers with a 132 haul. Supposedly got a $200 million signing bonus. Dustin Johnson, $97 million. Bryson DeChambeau, $86 million. Brooks Koepka, $69 million. Tiger Woods dropped to 5th with $68 million, nearly all of it coming from his endorsements. Rory McIlroy, 43. Jordan Spieth, 39. Those are still on the PGA. Sergio, 42. Patrick Reed, 37. Charles Schwartzel is 34. And Charles Barkley, Chuck, is not joining the LIV Tour.
No, he's not.
I didn't really understand.
So they make the $30 or $40 million this year.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean that's going to lead to success on the golf course in terms of winning and losing?
Got nothing.
Is that going to be your legacy? Yeah, I earned so and so million last year, but only one
People
tournament.
People that took the money's not worried about the legacy.
Yeah, not yet. Not yet.
That's why I think Tiger would never consider it.
Correct. Yeah.
Because it was more about the legacy and the wins and the tournaments and that kind of thing.
I understand.
So I think that's where that came from. Let's see. Link says, I bet Maryland regrets going to the Big Ten.
No, I don't.
They're losing money every week.
Do you think they're making that kind of money?
Well, they are now. Lots of networks, ACC, Big Ten, Southeast, Pac-12, looks like will have a replacement for the NCAA. Oh, that's exactly what's going to happen. And it's just going to be football. Link said Schwartzel made $10 million in 2 weeks. I could live on that. I could live on that.
Yeah.
And Richie said it would be okay for 1 year and be done. And that's kind of what some of these golfers said. I can go over and play for a year or two and I'm set. Isn't that what you try to do anyway? I mean, whether you're going to be a legacy player and win multiple Opens or a Grand Slam threat, or you just playing to make a living because you enjoy playing golf and making a living playing golf.
I mean, it goes back to what athletes used to say that that they'd have to pay. I love playing the game so much.
Mm-hmm.
They'd have to pay me to play. I can't believe I'm playing this. They should be.
I
paying me to play.
always ask Bill Rosinski that. I said, "You really take money from these people?" He travels to all these golf tournaments. His wife is his statistician, so it's all paid for. They go together. He does college games. He was doing some NFL games. Yeah. I'm like, really? You take money. We said, well, of course. Okay. And Link said NBC ratings were down 18% last night. Rating was only 4.1. Part of it, I think, was the delay.
Yeah, I'm
It's
sure.
almost 8:45. I don't want to start a game at 8:45.
Down 18% from a year ago? Is that what it was?
I'm guessing. Mm-hmm. Now, the other side of it is you're only going to watch it for a brief time because you're only going to see your starters for like a series or so
Yeah.
in that first game.
Unless you are the true diehard fan that want to know.
Wasn't me.
Who wants your favorite team's playing? Like if that were
I want to see Trevor Lawrence, but he didn't play enough to make any difference.
If that were me, if I were a Steelers fan, and was it last year Steelers and Cowboys played? I watched it to the very end because I wanted to see how the third team tackle's doing.
And
or
Link
the
said
backup
yes
linebacker.
from last year.
Okay,
that is from last year. Yeah. Milton said he had to change the channel last night. Collingsworth is so busy talking over the game. Does it hurt Collingsworth now that he's with Tirico? Because he was with Al Michael, right? That was
and they worked together before.
Yeah.
But
I'm just saying Collingsworth is still going to be the second fiddle regardless behind the play-by-play voice.
Correct.
I'll let you take – let me get Davey.
Okay. So we're going to continue our talk with college football. Davey Thomas, formerly Davy Crockett, has been the voice of James Madison University in football. Did a broadcast, did the national championship when they won it back in 2016, but also prior to that was the play-by-play voice of Lenore Ryan. Today he is working for a group of radio stations up in the Boone area and will be covering Appalachian State football. So we thought it'd be a good idea to talk a little college football today because in the Sun Belt Conference expanding, and Appalachian, of course, a part of that. And the Sun Belt Conference is a conference right now that we had Davey on last year when James Madison made it to the College World Series to talk softball. And we had a big discussion, Lanny, if you recall, as we bring Davey on right now, is looking at the maybe Sun Belt Conference becoming a stronger conference, especially regionally. My God, it turns out that way that they are. They've added a couple of schools, including Davey's old school, James Madison, and now here we are, Sun Belt, maybe one of the top conferences outside of the Power Five in the country.
No, I agree 100%. Davey, thanks for joining us this morning. You know, one of the things when all this happened, when Appalachian moved up, and then that's the same time Charlotte moved up, the Conference USA hooked their wagon to Charlotte because they were in the Charlotte market. Well, Appalachian and Boone is also in the Charlotte market when it comes to that. A lot of folks down there, and it looks like they may have hooked their wagon to the wrong conference and team because the Sun Belt seems to be the one that's growing the most.
Well, I think that's a good point. I mean, you look at Appalachian has history. I mean, they had 3 national championships before Charlotte had football. So Charlotte being new, and so much of this is done on television market, guys. You can use the air quotes if you want to. But how many eyes are watching these teams? You know, I mean, the CAA, JMU's former conference, was chasing New York markets. But you're in markets where they're pro towns. In Boston for Northeastern with basketball, nobody cares about Northeastern basketball in Boston hardly at all. So chasing markets is one thing, but being in the right place at the right time, I think, is more important. And I think, as you said, Sun Belt going after App, the history, the heritage, and the fan base. Let's not forget the fan base, too. Charlotte being a brand-new program, excitement, there was a lot of it. I still remember when it first was put together. But it doesn't have anything to the heritage and the history that App State has, for sure.
And it's going to take a while. I mean, they struggled to fill out 15,000 in their stadium, and they've already got plans on the books to make that larger, and I get all that, but you got to have something else to go along with it besides just having a football offering and making the stadium bigger. There's going to have to be some success. Now, Will Healy has done some things and made some strides, but not quite there, kind of where he needs to be. The other connection to Appalachian, Appalachian is rich history in itself. Now there's even more talk about maybe some of the success that Louisville's having with Scott Satterfield, former head coach of the Mountaineers.
Oh, yeah, look at what he's done just this year alone. We all know that probably the seat for Coach Satterfield, unfortunately, is getting hotter. No doubt the man can coach. No doubt he was a great player. But when you see situations change where coaches go, okay, I feel a little pressure here, they start bringing in guys that they call, quote-unquote, their guys. And he's made several hires this year to his staff from guys that were on staff with him or coached or played with him at App State because they have the same mindset, the same mentality. You guys have been around sports long enough. You've played. You know, you can tell if the coaching staff is not in succinct order, if there's some dissension, if there's some rumbling along the way. And Louisville what they need is quality coaching top to bottom. And they need to stay healthy. Now, let's be honest. They've been very injured the last couple of years, and that's played into this fact. But if you know this could be your last go at it at a really prestigious institution, why not bring your guys in and everybody be in lockstep? And I think that's what Scott Satterfield has done at Louisville for sure.
Hey, Davey, we're about a month out away from kickoff for Appalachian and college football. What's the buzz like, and what's all the vibe going on up in Boone as they take on Carolina in about a month?
Oh, it's unbelievable. People are so stoked to have this game coming in. Yesterday, as a matter of fact, it was media day, and athletic director Doug Gillum was talking about, that they're trying to exceed the number of people in Boone that came here for the Miami game, and they're not trying to bring the most people into App State to an App State game. The most people in Boone, North Carolina, ever. And they've been working really hard on this. I interviewed Mr. Gillum a couple of months back, saying, okay, what are the protocols? What are you doing? What do people need to know? And they've been working really hard at this, trying to make things more accessible, parking, concessions, what you need to, and they're stressing folks need to get here early. It's a noon kick, which is a terrible time for the folks here in Boone. If you could put this at 3 or even at 6, could you imagine what it would be like? So you've got a terrible timing. It's an early start, but they're encouraging people to come to Boone and be here early. It's going to be a big weekend in the high country for sure, but the buzz around this program, not only because Carolina's coming to town, but because App State has beaten them already. And Mac Brown knows what he's dealing with. And if you listen to Carolina football players talk about this game, and I've heard a few of them talk about it, listen, we know what we're getting ourselves into. We know this is a hard place to play, and it's a top-rated opponent. So it is going to be a very interesting matchup come September 3rd.
How good is the Sun Belt Conference as a whole this year with adding the new teams? I mean, top to bottom, they must be as balanced as they've ever been.
I think probably so. I think they're challenging the American for, and some of the other conferences. It may be the top group of 5 conference. When you bring in, a school like James Madison who came from FCS, but what they do and how they do it. And, you're talking about Charlotte already trying to expand a stadium without filling it out first. The thing I learned at James Madison during my time there was they're very methodical in everything they do. They have a stadium that seats just under 24,000, and they put just under 24,000 in there just about every weekend. They know that they can't expand until they're ready to expand, and they're already working on that. They've been forecasting how to make that happen. When they built this new stadium back in 2011, they left it off so they could just pick right up and move around, and it wouldn't be a total rebuild, start over kind of thing. So the thing I learned about JMU is they're very methodical in what they do, and they forecast and they plan very, very well. They bring history and heritage. Curt Cignetti, I'm telling you what, is one of the most outstanding football coaches I've ever been around. He is a football coach, period. He hires guys to take care of all the responsibilities around the program. He keeps an eye on it when he has to, but he's coaching plays. He's drawing up plays. He's coaching players. He is one of the most prepared coaches, and Juju, you and I worked with Mike Houston, who I still consider one of the most prepared coaches in the country. I put Curt Cignetti right up there with him. He'll bring a team in September to take on App State here in Boone that, may be a little undermanned just because it's the first year with their scholarships, but they're coming in fully expecting to win the football game, and he expects to win every game. But top to bottom, Coastal Carolina's got, Old Dominion's gotten better. They made some strides. They kind of followed Charlotte into that Conference USA route, and, man, did they get burned. I mean, they were losing money right and left. And before this move to the Sun Belt, there was rumor and speculation over the last couple of years in Virginia that Old Dominion was going to step back to FCS after they had just expanded their stadium because they couldn't get fans to come in because they didn't care about the teams they were playing. This more regional matchup of the Sun Belt is going to be good for all the schools involved.
But isn't that the way that's what's happening with football, especially when you're not talking Power 5? Power 5, they're going to come in to watch whoever comes to town. But when you start talking about the Group 5 teams, they want to see teams that there's some sort of rivalry there. It's funny that JMU just moving up, but that's really the diamond of that conference when you talk about any type of notoriety.
Oh, there's no doubt. And, Old Dominion, like Charlotte, chased the Conference USA TV money, which was there for a while, but quickly dried up and went away. And JMU had the opportunity to move when ODU made the same move and decided not to. And it worked out better for them because, listen, they've got a deeper athletic budget than Appalachian does. They've got a deeper athletic budget than most of the people in this conference. So they're up there with managing their money well, putting themselves in a situation. They've got great facilities. They've got great support from the administrative offices there. They understand it. So I do believe in 2, maybe 3 years, it wouldn't surprise me at all to see JMU challenging for a conference championship because where they are located, they recruit, out of Virginia, out of Maryland, out of Pennsylvania. You're getting kids now from New York and New Jersey coming to Central Virginia to play. Plus, they're still recruiting very well out of North and South Carolina and in Georgia. So they're getting a lot of quality players, the facilities, the commitment. It's a total package there. They're going to be there'll be some athletic directors in a couple of years go, maybe adding JMU wasn't the best idea for simple because they're exceeding what we thought they could be.
Hey, Dave, you've done play-by-play before. What are you doing now? What are you going to be doing this fall when it comes to covering college football?
Well, just kind of we're working with App State, the group of radio stations that I work for. We're working with them and one of the local TV stations, and we're doing a weekly show. And it's going to be focused on football, and it's talking about the games. And so I'll just be interviewing players. That's primarily my thing right now, is just interviewing the players and working with App State and with Skyline Sky Best here in the High Country to bring this weekly show. It's a radio-television combo. So we get to know the players a little bit better. That's the one thing, wearing helmets, and Juju, you can attest to this, you worked the sidelines with us at Lenore-Ryan, and sometimes you'd have to go, hey, there's so-and-so, because I didn't recognize a kid without a jersey and a helmet. This is an opportunity to expose them a little bit more to the community here, the rabid fan base up here that loves App State football. So they just recognize these players for who they are and what they do. So that's primarily what I'm doing in addition to the numerous hours I work managing 8 radio stations.
Davey Thomas, we talk about how Appalachian was so ingrained in the Southern Conference for so many years, those historic rivalries that everybody got excited for. The Sun Belt has finally built some of that back, and especially when you talk about the Eastern Division. In that division, you've got App, Coastal, Georgia Southern, Georgia State, James Madison, Marshall, Old Dominion. Those are easy travel games for App State, and they're teams that will resonate with fans and make them want to come out and watch.
Oh, absolutely. You look at App State and Marshall, what they've been playing the last couple of years, and there's history there. There's history between Marshall and JMU. There's history between ODU and Marshall. So this whole thing is really compiled around creating rivalries. Coastal Carolina and JMU, you guys might remember this, made SportsCenter numerous years ago.
Yeah.
The two mascots got into a fight. That was the game where the mascots got into a fight between those two schools. And listen, Coastal has exceeded what a lot of folks thought they were ever going to be able to do. They went to College World Series a few years ago. Oh, it's a baseball school. No, they're very much a football program for sure. So you've got history and heritage there, and that means so much to not just fans who want to come watch the games, but fans sometimes will travel. Hey, let's take the family and go here, and let's go visit the Shenandoah Valley and watch App play JMU this weekend and kick it around Central Virginia, or let's go to Conway, South Carolina, and head down to Myrtle Beach and have a little time. So this conference brings a lot, not just to the fans, but to the cities and the towns that support these universities. You're going to see a lot of travel. Trust me, when JMU comes to Boone in September, I've already heard from a lot of people going, hey, man, where do I need to eat? What do I need to do? Because they're going to be bringing a load, and that's what this regional conference does. It generates fans, and it's good for not only the schools involved, but also the communities who support these schools.
Well, the biggest thing Appalachian has gotten back inside the Sun Belt is now they've got a division with division rivalries that's in that 3 to 5 hour drive window, and Appalachian always traveled well. It's just now it's not a 2 hour trip. It's, more of a 4 hour trip, but nobody minds doing that because you've now got places, like you said, that are destinations. Coastal down at Myrtle Beach. Georgia State is in Atlanta. Old Dominion's up in near Virginia Beach in that area. So you've got places that people can say, we'll just go make a weekend of it.
Well, and Huntington, West Virginia is a beautiful place.
Yes.
And listen, Marshall has history. I mean, some of it's very sad and heartbreaking from the plane crash that claimed the entire team, and they had to start over. And the movie coming out drew a lot of people to that program because, wow, this is somebody I can pull for. But Huntington's a beautiful area. I covered some basketball games there, and they've got a history and a heritage, and they've got a fan base that travels as well. So this is what college football really should be. As we see it get contorted, and we're rumored of going to 2 or 3 mega conferences, and you got teams from the West Coast going to be in a Midwest conference or East Coast conference, really doesn't make sense from a standpoint of geographic alignment and support. But those programs have got more money than they know what to do with. They've got to find a way to spend it or they lose it. These programs do not. App State, JMU, ODU, they don't have money to burn. They've got good facilities. They've got terrific support, but they don't have money to blow their nose on. And that's what your Alabamas and your Auburns and your Clemsons have. But these programs are going to generate rivalry, man. They're going to be something. I mean, trust me, people in Harrisonburg still talk about playoff games against App State. People at JMU still remember those games. They still remember the mascot game with Coastal Carolina where the mascots got into a fight. I mean, that's something that the fan base wraps their. I mean, I left Harrisonburg and came to Boone. Couldn't tell you the number of people said, we're going to miss you. Don't ever work for the black and gold. You work for the black and gold, you're dead to me. That's how deep it runs for these people. So this is what college football really should be about.
Yeah, that's what it used to be about for a long time, a few years ago.
Yeah,
you're right.
Now it's getting there.
Yeah,
Davey Thomas, thanks for joining us,
buddy.
sir. We'll be definitely checking back in with you as the season goes on. A lot of App State interest around here, but don't overwork, but enjoy yourself while you can too.
Hey, guys, pleasure to talk to you as always. Thanks for the time.
Thanks, Davey.
Thanks, Davey. Appreciate it. That's Davey Thomas. That's a great gig to be up there in Boone. I enjoyed my time when I traveled with them for a couple of years. That was a lot of fun. But then it became really, really aggravating because it was long. You fly out at 2 o'clock on a Friday afternoon and you fly back in about 2 o'clock on a Sunday morning, and you kind of don't stop. But I got to see some really neat places, and I thought that was good. Richie said that Satterfield has to get to a winning record this year. The OC needs to figure out how to use Cunningham effectively. Scott took a lot of his same coaches with him that were former players or that he had played with and coached with. And I thought I saw where he had kind of made some changes and was kind of going outside the family just a little bit on some of his coaching positions, and probably needed to do that a little bit. Richie said App State, Georgia State should be a good matchup. Of course, that's a rivalry. Sean Elliott down at Georgia State. Sean Elliott, longtime assistant at Appalachian, and then he was at South Carolina for a brief time. I think they missed the boat on that one in Columbia, but that's just my opinion. And then there was a lot of folks when I guess it was when Scott got the job, maybe a lot of folks thought Sean Elliott would be the one. And then I don't think he was interested when they did the drink of water thing. I think he had kind of settled in and was going to kind of go in a different direction. But, college football is right around the corner. We've got high school football coming up.
Next weekend, right?
Yeah, next Friday we're going to do the Lincoln County Jamboree. All the Lincoln County schools will be involved in that, and we're just going to have some coverage of that on Friday night to kind of get us started. And then on the 19th we kick it off. And I want to say that's West Lincoln, North Lincoln, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to go back and look at my schedule. But a lot of great games coming up.
Will we ever get to a point, even in high school football, where you're having to fill out your schedule sometimes with non-conference games? Could you see teams or schools playing each other more than once in a season?
Cherville and Bessemer City used to do that because they couldn't find enough games. One would be a non-conference game and one would be a conference game, and it was already designated in high school. So you do what you have to do to make it work. I still say they need to take the Group 5, they need to cut down to 10 games, and they need to bring in a playoff.
You mean in college football, 10, just 10 games?
Mm-hmm. And bring in a playoff.
And a big playoff, 16 teams. Mm-hmm. So you're looking at –
like FCS does now. FCS?
Yeah.
What do they bring in, 20? Is it 20?
No, it's 20.
Or more than 20.
28, I believe.
Yeah.
24.
Do the same thing in a Group 5.
I mean, D2 does the same. D3.
How many regular season games LR play?
This year, 11.
Okay. Well,
Last year, 10.
I'm okay with 11, but no more than 11. This stuff playing 12, 13 games in regular season, no.
Well, for some schools, they'll never have a chance to get to a playoff.
I don't want more games. I just want more football. Like the NFL, I didn't want Week 17.
Want more
I
quality.
was okay with having 14 regular season games, just spread them out longer. A couple more open dates so that I've got football every week.
More quality football,
Well,
not
I
just
think
more
you
football.
get that. That's how I think you get that. I think, and you know, the hardliners on basketball and baseball will argue with me. I think until you get to that point, you're not going to get that quality. I think you're playing too much. 162 in baseball is too many. The 30-some they play in college basketball is too many. And nobody's really interested until January. You don't need to start that up to 1st of November.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. NBA, 82 games, too many. Too many. Because you play a second season in the playoffs. Well, we're going to do a best of 14, winner take
And
all.
then the
We're
most
gonna
grueling championship you haven't even brought up yet is the Stanley Cup playoffs, which
hockey.
it's pretty tough.
And that's, you know, and I'm okay with that, but I'd rather see you cut down on the regular season and spread it around, you know, and just spread it around. That's what I want to see.
The thing that Davey was talking about with college football, which is interesting, is that in the Sun Belt Conference, you're not losing the rivalries. And some of these other major conferences, they're adding these games and these schools and everything that they're losing their rivalries. They're chasing the dollar, obviously.
When you go back and you look, and let me pull it back up here again. When you go back and you look at what has happened inside the when you look at what's happened inside the Sun Belt, they have restructured that now to where you've got games of interest. Look at Charlotte's conference. The closest team that they have to them is going to be Middle Tennessee. Inside the conference.
Yeah.
Then you've got two Floridas, Louisiana Tech, North Texas, Rice, UAB, El Paso, San Antonio, Western Kentucky. How do you build fan interest in that?
I don't know how you do. I don't.
Especially as a startup.
I think I think that you're only good for fan interest. You have to pick out a school that's going to be your chief rival.
Yeah.
And we heard Davey talk about, and if you look at Division II, some of these smaller schools and other schools they know who they are. Mm-hmm. They know who their major
They're
opponent.
comfortable with who
they are.
Mm-hmm.
And we hopefully will see more of that going forward. I'm not so sure.
Mm-hmm.
When you're a Charlotte, they should have hooked, like you said, they should have hooked their wagons to some regional rivals early on. Mm-hmm. And now they're just chasing the dollar.
Yeah, trying to survive.
Yeah.
Bob says simply quality over quantity.
Absolutely.
And I'll take it every time. Four says Mountain
like
1A
here.
schools do the same thing with
Yeah.
revenue.
That's why we like this show.
Yeah.
It's quality over quantity.
So, are you standing by that?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. As long as you're standing by that.
I am standing by it.
Wow.
Stand by your man.
Stand by your man. Tammy Wynette. Little Tammy Wynette here
I
this
can't
morning.
sing. My throat still is scratchy, but I can't sing, so I'm not going to try.
East
Hard
Carolina,
to be humble when you're
East
perfect in every
Carolina, Richie said, what's their closest opponent? They don't have a close opponent, Richie. See,
They do,
East Carolina not in the conference.
Oh, you didn't say that. You said
East
closest
Carolina
opponent.
should be in the Sun Belt.
Yeah.
They would be a much better field, and Charlotte should too.
Yeah.
I mean, to make it more regional.
Call it the Blue Ridge Conference.
Here
Blue
you go.
Ridge
Here we go.
Parkway
East
Conference.
Carolina is in the conference with Cincinnati, Houston, Memphis, Navy, SMU, South Florida, Temple, Tulane, Tulsa, and Central Florida. I'm hearing Central Florida may get gobbled up by Big Ten to get into the Florida market.
Not
and
Central.
then I'm hearing SMU may get gobbled in to bring in Texas.
No.
I don't know.
No.
I didn't say you had to like it. I'm just telling you what it is. Have a great weekend, everybody. The boys will be back in the morning, 8 till 10. And hope you have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you again Monday morning.
Maybe moving day for me.
Maybe moving day for Juju. Okay, we'll see you when we see you. Have a good one.